Hi, my name is June, and I'm going to present to you about a short story called The Thing Around Your Neck by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The things I'm going to present to you are about the main theme of the story, examining how the story causes you to question familiar issues or story expectations, one literary advice, a movie, and my story that keeps up with the spirit. Before I get to the main theme of the story, let me tell you the summary. The story is basically about Akuna, who wins the American visa lottery and moves from Nigeria to Maine. Akuna has a difficult adjustment to rural American life. One evening, her uncle sexually assaults her and she leaves on a one-way bus ticket to Connecticut. There, she works as a waitress and struggles to make ends meet. One day, a young white man comes to the restaurant and began to date after the boy was interested in her life. But she realizes that there was some differences between herself and the boy. The difference was that he romanticized the lives of poor foreign countries. Even with his knowledge about non-Western countries, Akuna realized that he was very unaware about this privilege. At the end, Akuna receives a letter from her family notifying her that her father has passed away. She flies back to Nigeria and it is unsure whether she will return to America or to a relationship. Chimamanda's theme of the story was a theme called the American Dream. This theme basically refers to a shared set of ideals that guide the spirit of the United States. This theme connects with the story because Akuna and her parents believed that America was based on this amazing life full of success, money, great cars, and expensive items after she won the lottery, but that wasn't it. Instead, she got this difficult life with sexual abuse, annoyance in her job, and financial problems. This was the reason she couldn't send a letter for what her parents expected, and I think that's why the title is called The Thing Around Your Neck. The five quotes that I'm going to state about the theme of the American Dream are: in a month you will have a big car, soon a big house. That's in page 115, paragraph 1. This was the start of the story that basically started the theme of the American Dream, which refers to the set of ideals in America that aren't realistic. The second quote is: the trick was to understand America, to know that America was give and take. You gave up a lot, but you gained a lot too. That's in page 116, paragraph 1. This means that after Akuna won the American visa lottery, her family expected that her life in the United States would be prosperous. Upon arrival, however, she realized that being an immigrant in America was incredibly difficult. Akuna's abusive uncle, whom she lived with when she first arrived in the United States, attempted to excuse his own behavior by writing it off as one of the adversities that Akuna needed to face. However, as Akuna navigated her new American life, she realized that she didn't gain much. Instead, the United States took away her sense of country's culture. The third quote was: at night, something will wrap itself around your neck before you fell asleep. That's in page 119, paragraph 4, which meant that the thing around your neck is a metaphor for Akuna's anxiety about succeeding in America. She had many expectations and obstacles placed up in her path, like her family's expectations. Later, she will say that the thing around her neck had loosened its grip. That means she could sleep better and feel less tense. But however, she still remained anxious. The fourth quote was: white people who liked Africa too much or too little were the same, condescending. Page 120, paragraph 2. This meant that Acuna drawed a comparison between white people who are racist and those who romanticize or fetishize Africans. She was annoyed with both of them. Neither simply treated Africans like normal human beings with everyday struggles, and she realized that both are racist in their own way. Acuna finds this attitude demeaning, as well as Acuna realized of what America actually was and how Americans act toward an immigrant. The fifth quote was: you did not know that people could simply choose not to go to school, that people could dictate to life. You were used to accepting what life gave, writing down what life dictated. That's in page 121, paragraph 2. This basically meant that America had this freedom of choice to choose their selves paths, and at the end, she referred to her country that she didn't have the choice in her own country. So this referred to her thinking that this country is like heaven and paradise, which really didn't end well for her. In this story, I have questioned one part of the story that made me confused and question about the character's act. The part that I questioned was when Akuna's uncle sexually harassed Akuna. The reason that I questioned is that in the part of the story, he said if you let him, he would do many things for you. Smart women did it all the time. This basically is stating that independent women are always not attractive or successful, and that women should always be in control by men. This made me question about this thinking of what women are, because this was very untrue. A lot of women are stronger and determined when they are more independent, because independence makes a powerful gift that a woman can give it to herself, because it can lead her to reach greater heights and achieve higher goals. And at the end of the day, the happiness and the contentment that a woman feels by being independent is all that matters for her successful life. This is proven statistically in a website called The Citizen, where they said 53% more independent women are participating in the workforce than 50 years ago, giving a woman a louder voice in society. For the literary advice, the whole title is a symbol for the story, because when she went to Maine and Connecticut, she had a harsh, difficult life, but she couldn't tell her parents, because her parents expected that life would be great, as she said at the start of the story. From all these expectations, she didn't want to disappoint her parents, so she just built this ball of stress inside her that made her choke. The three codes that relate to these symbols are: at night, something will wrap itself around your neck, something that very nearly choked you before you fell asleep. That's in page 119, paragraph 4. This quote basically states that she was so ashamed and felt invisible. This basically caused the strength and anxiety that made her choke at night from never having to afford the expensive bags and perfume that her parents wanted. The next two quotes are the reasons why she was choking. The first quote was, "You could never afford enough perfumes and clothes and handbags and shoes to go around and still pay your rent on what you earned at the waiter's job. So you wrote nobody on. That's on page 119, paragraph 2. This code basically means that she had other things to pay, like rent, so she couldn't afford the perfume and the bags for her parents, so she felt like she would make her parents sad, so she didn't write her parents. That made her stressful and nervous. The second quote is, "Your father who brought back his boss's old newspapers from work and made your brother read them. Your mother whose salary was barely enough to pay her brother's school fees at the secondary school." To page 118, paragraph 1. The last quote is not directly about the symbol, but it represents that from Akuna's parents not living well and Akuna's winning the lottery, but still having difficulty living makes her cause anxiety and stress, which makes her choke like this thing around her neck.
One other McFries, two chocolate milkshakes. Come back McSoon.
New York is very exciting, and everyone here is free. Sometimes too free.
Give me the money, man.
But I think I'm finally adjusting to my new life. Everybody I meet from somewhere else.
Life, liberty, happiness.
is America.
Kiss the bears for me. Love, Vladimir.
This movie is called The Moscow on the Hudson, that had a similar plot to the short story. The basic plot of this movie is a Russian saxophonist called Vladimir Ivanov, who was visiting New York with a circus troupe, decided to give up from the USSR during a shopping trip with Bloomingdale's, but he finds adjusting to American life more difficult than he imagined. Both the film and the story had a similar character that came from a different country, thinking that America would be a great opportunity for a great life. Both characters were wrong because they experienced a difficult life adjusting to the American life. The difference from both films and the story is that one goes back to their original country and one stays in the United States, as well as another difference is that Vladimir appreciates his great fortune of living in the United States, but Akuna couldn't appreciate the fortune of living in the United States because her experience was so harsh, from the sexual harassment, her financial problems, and etc. Even with some differences, both of this film and story took the similar theme of the unrealistic American dream most of the time, and that is the reason why I chose this movie. From all this interesting information about the story, I have experienced this kind of story. I was originally from South Korea and I moved to different countries and cities for my whole life, like Philippines and Canada. From my experiences, adjusting to new countries and cities was a difficult time for me. For me, it was that I got racially profiled a lot with different profanities that was against Asians, like the word chink. From this experience, I wasn't mentally well from depression and stress. I had lots of tics, from biting my nails, punching myself, punching my walls, and pulling my hair. From all this trouble, I still knew I should be grateful from all these experiences. I had learned, like, learning and being confident to talk to different people or learning different traditions. Because if I was in Korea, I would be in worse condition from all the anxiety and stress I would have gotten in school and at home, like parents' expectations, schoolwork, and not having the opportunity to strike up a friendship. Because Korea wasn't really a social country from strangers. This is the reason why Korea has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. So from the gratefulness, I try to heal myself and be a better person. Since now my ticks got a lot better except my fingernail picking. At the end of the day, I really enjoyed the story of Akuna and a Story in America because it related to me in a sense, as well as I enjoyed listening to different stories and movies about this theme while researching and their point of view and the theme of an American dream. I would love to hear more stories of a difficult life as an immigrant, newcomers, or foreigners in the future to know how they experienced it. Thank you for listening to my video or presentation.